Hi, I'm glad to see you, and we have a book to read today. It is called The Curious Garden, and the author and illustrator is Peter Brown. And so he did the pictures and he also wrote the words. So today, as we're reading, we're going to be listening for and thinking about some of the main parts of our story. We're going to be thinking about the characters in the story. That's the who. We're going to be thinking about the setting of the story. That's when it happened and where it happened. And we're going to be thinking about the plot of the story, what happened or the events that happened in the story. So it's kind of like when we're talking about when, where, who, and telling what happened. So we'll be listening for those details as we're reading. Here we go. There once was a city without gardens or trees or greenery of any kind. Most people spent their time indoors. As you can imagine, it was a very dreary place. You can even see on the pictures there's not a lot of color. The pictures are showing us how dreary it was. However, there was one boy who loved being outside. Even on drizzly days, while everyone else stayed inside, you could always find Liam happily splashing through his neighborhood. It was on one such morning that Liam made several surprising discoveries. He was wandering around the old railway, as he did from time to time, when he stumbled upon a dark stairwell leading up to the tracks. The railway had stopped working ages ago, and since Liam had always wanted to explore the tracks, there was only one thing for the curious boy to do. So far, we know a little bit about our story. We know a little bit about the setting, the when, the where. We know a little bit about the characters, the who. So far we know it's happening in the morning, in a dreary place, without gardens in a city. And Liam is our main character so far. Liam ran up the stairs, pushed open the door, and stepped out onto the railway. The first thing he saw was a lonely patch of color. Wildflowers and plants were the last things he had expected to find up there, but when he took a closer look, it became clear that the plants were dying. They needed a gardener. Do you see that little patch of plants there? They need someone to help take care of them and give them what plants need. Liam may not have been a gardener, but he knew he could help. So he returned to the railway the very next day and got to work. The flowers nearly drowned, and he had a few pruning problems. But the plants patiently waited while Liam found better ways of gardening. So, did he do it just right at first? No, but he found other ways. That's just like us when we're learning new things. Sometimes we struggle and make mistakes, but that's part of our learning. It helps us get better and learn how to do it a different way. As the weeks rolled by, Liam began to feel like a real gardener, and the plants began to feel like a real garden. So we can also look at the pictures and see some changes, and that helps us know more about what's happening in the story. So we talked about the when and the where, the who, and now we're learning a little bit about what's happening in the story. There was a problem. Those plants needed a gardener, and this city was looking dreary, and now he's helping solve that problem and learning while he does it. Most gardens stay in one place, but this was no ordinary garden. With miles of open railway ahead of it, the garden was growing restless. It wanted to explore. The tough little weeds and mosses were the first to move. They popped up farther and farther down the tracks. and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. Over the next few months, Liam and the curious garden explored every corner of the railway. Wow, can you see how that garden is growing? All because of what Liam is doing and trying. Whoa, this page doesn't have any words, but it sure has a picture that shows us some changes. Oh, and another one. After spending the spring and summer and autumn's another word for fall, with his garden, Liam's time on the railway was finally interrupted by winter. Do you remember when it was winter? And there was snow on the ground. It looked all white and we were all bundled up like this. Heavy blankets of snow fell on the city that season, and for the first time since he'd become a gardener, Liam could not visit his plants. Rather than waste his winter worrying about the garden, Liam spent it preparing for spring. How is he preparing for spring? Can you see in the picture? It doesn't tell us in the words, so we have to get more clues from what we see in the book. What's he doing? Yeah, I think that is helping prepare him for spring, for what comes next. After 3 cold months, the snow finally began to melt, and Liam rolled his new gardening gear over to the railway. Winter had taken a toll on the garden, but thanks to Liam's planning, his handy new tools, and a little help from the sun, the plants soon awoke from their winter sleep. What do you think it means that the plants awoke from their winter sleep? How did they wake up? What does a plant waking up look like? The garden had always wanted to explore the rest of the city, and that spring it was finally ready to make its move. Once again, the tough little weeds and mosses set out first. They popped up farther and farther from the railway and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. The garden was especially curious about old, forgotten things. What do you see on here that looks like an old, forgotten thing? A few plants popped up where they didn't belong. Can you tell what this one is growing on? Stop sign. Oh, and this one? Others mysteriously popped up all at once. But the most surprising things that popped up were the new gardeners. So not just the garden, but what? New gardeners, more people coming to help. Wow, these pictures are really cool. I'm gonna see if I can hold it. See if I can hold it so you can see some of those pictures and what's happening. Lots of details. Many years later, the entire city had bloomed and the entire city had blossomed. But of all the new gardens, Liam's favorite was where it all began. Where did it all begin? Do you remember where he first found that little garden that needed help? You can kind of tell where they are, up on top where the railroad tracks were. Who do you think these people are helping him? Wow, and look at the difference in the city. Big difference. Did you hear that crash out in my kitchen? think someone's cooking or doing some dishes. Okay, so let's think about this story. The when, the where, the who, and what happened. So we knew it was in the morning at first, but then it went through all the seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter, and back to spring again. And the where was in this city, and his favorite spot was up on the railroad tracks. The who was Liam and the new gardeners. And what happened? How about you tell someone around you, or you can tell me right now, you can even pause it and I'll listen. What happened in this story? Okay, have a great rest of your week. I miss you and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye.